It's 2016 and incredibly already year number 12. The Carhartt Bassmaster College Series. It's incredible. Race for the national championship. Welcome to the studio. I'm Tommy Sanders here with Ronnie Moore. And Ronnie, great to have you back again this year. Ronnie himself, a product of the series, and what we've discovered and what we always talk about through the years is the incredible growth. We went from 6 teams to how many hundreds of teams across the country. But it hasn't been a fad. We're discovering there's a huge resource of great talent at that category.
There are hundreds of teams from across the country that want to compete, some that are ready to take their level maybe to the next level, the Elite Series, the Opens, others who are learning about fishing and can still compete on a platform against their peers. So you have a whole mixed bag of anglers, all with a chance to make it to that national championship.
So accomplished and so good, and you talk about those ones who have taken it to the top level, the very top level, the Bassmaster Elite Series, your Brandon Cards, the Lee brothers, Jordan Lee in particular. This season we're talking about just phenomenal. So a lot of that talent we're getting a preview of today as we go through these qualifying rounds to make it to the national championship, and of course the ultimate goal, I guess, a national championship's pretty big, but to make it to the qualifier for that one classic spot.
It's all that anglers talk about. They have those 6 regionals that to get to the championship, but everyone who punches their ticket for the championship already has in the back of their mind that bracket for the top 4 teams and a chance at the Bassmaster Classic.
All right, it starts at the regional level, so here we go. Well, here's the way it lays out for these teams from across the country. You pick your regional qualifier to get started in the process. We'll start with the Southern from legendary Lake Martin.
You should have some clear water, muddy water, spotted bass, and largemouth.
All right, and for the Central, the vast Atchafalaya Basin.
These guys dealt with a cold front, but there's plenty of water for them to cover here.
That's the Central qualifier from Houma, Louisiana. The Western, legendary again, Lake Mead there on the Colorado River.
One of the first Bassmaster locations they ever had.
Yeah, the very first side of the Classic. The Eastern from another place with great Bassmaster history, the James River.
Tidal fishing at its best.
All right, and we'll go to the final regional qualifier from Clinton Lake between St. Louis and Chicago. Small but filled with fish.
A power plant link that brings a unique perspective.
And the wild card, if you couldn't make it in through any of the regional qualifiers, the first 5, you got a shot one more time at Lake Murray, Ardmore, Oklahoma. Of course, the goal in mind for all of these teams, Green River Lake, Campbellsville, Kentucky, in the national championship. We're going to start out with the Southern, 44,000 acres on the Tallapoosa River, Lake Martin in Alabama. Let's take a look at the weigh-in on day number 1. There's your second place team. From the University of South Carolina, Brian Sweeney, Robert White, knocking down a 5-fish limit, 12-4. So you can bet we'll be on them as we get a start on day number 2, just like day number 1. Plenty cold on this morning in February, but these anglers are game and they're getting their game plan together.
All right, look, we're going to start on the front corner where you caught that one yesterday. We'll start right here on the front corner of that hump. We're going to come right around and fish the back of it. If they're not staged up on the back of it, we're going to come around the front. See if since it got down cold last night, they're staging up on the drop on the front side of that point. We'll go over that. The first day we fished, when Brian had the 5.3, that was, it was 1 ounce short of big fish for the day, but we fished and fished and fished, and we was fixing to come in and stopped on a spot that I just really felt like could be good. Some shad that were pushed up in it, and that wind had been beating on it all day, and just about ran the trolling motor to death just to keep the boat at a pace to fish, fighting the wind.
So you can see the second place team of Sweeney and White targeting that rocky, the pea gravel, the chunk rock banks, anything that'll hold heat, because Lake Martin had a major cold front come through during the tournament. So they're using those basics, the Carolina rigs, those soft plastics, anything they can fish really slow given the cold front.
You see that red clay and all those boat docks is a pretty good indication you're on Lake Martin, which people have been fishing and fishing well in the wintertime for many years. Let's go take a look at our first place team from day number 1 in the Southern Regional. Caden Sinclair, Hunter Gibson, the University of Alabama. Alabama always strong.
This is by far the biggest tournament I've ever fished. It just makes it tough with so many boats, because just about everywhere you go there's boats all in your creek, and it just makes fishing a lot tougher.
The lake, it's way down, but it's normal for this time of year. You still have some treetops in the water, and that's really what we keyed on. Keyed on a lot of shallower stuff with just treetops that were in the water. We'd fish for 10 or 15 minutes, say, oh, I don't like this spot, pick up and get on the big motor and go to a new spot and go to a new spot. And we weren't really fishing. And now we kind of learned that if you just fish, you'll catch fish, And so that's why we really wanted to stay close.
We knew that Elkahatchee was a hot spot and there'd be a million boats in there. I don't know, we'll see.
Sinclair and Gibson claim that, well, while a lot of these teams are talking about catching a limit of spots, easy to catch here, easier anyway. And Martin, they say, we don't know how to do that. We're just going to concentrate on the largemouth. Hasn't been a bad plan through that first day and into the second.
These guys were using shallow crankbaits to target those laydowns, those rocky banks. They said, you know, on the water they were fishing slower. They had to fish slower because they were running around too much, and with the cold conditions, that was the best way for them to utilize their time. And as you can see, the bigger largemouth definitely showed up for them, and it's going to propel them into the final day.
One big one, a 5+. They say you got loose a bad net job earlier in the tournament. But let's take a look at what happened when we're into the day number 2, and there they are, Ryan Hayes and Jake Staley from the University of Northern Alabama in 3rd place. How about South Alabama?
Lewis McMurphy and MJ Vahanik, 17 pounds plus on day 2 to vault up to 2nd place on the leaderboard.
With the top of this leaderboard, the top 3 places, all Alabama schools at this point for the first slot. Let's take a look at another team yet from Alabama. University of Alabama's John Davis, Peyton McGinnis, 19 pounds, 8 ounces on Lake Martin, day number 2, to lead the way, the 26 teams that have qualified for the final day competition. And incidentally, those are the 26 who've qualified for the championship. As we take a look at the top 10 there leading the way into the final day, Alabama all over the top from separate schools, Auburn in there, Bethel, Jacksonville State, Mississippi State, Central Florida, a couple of Florida schools, and some more Alabama. We'll be back with the final day in just a moment.
Good. Good one. That's how you wanted to eat it right there.
The Carhartt Bassmaster College Series is brought to you by Carhartt and by Bass Pro Shops.
Carhartt Bassmaster College Series, the Southern Regional Qualifiers, Lake Martin for 80 years here in Alabama. And how about this place for a good while, the Shonuff Barbecue.
Number 83.
Back in 1980, I guess, decided to go in the bait and tackle business and built it from the ground up. Full service, gas, beer, cigarettes. Found this little pull around barbecue trailer, self-contained. And we kind of set it up out front of the store, and it really took off.
Well, that's what's left of a large sandwich after I got finished with it. That's my favorite large sandwich.
I think the food here is outstanding. It's my favorite barbecue in Alex City.
The old tackle box still sits there, barbecue still smoking.
Yeah, a little bit of pig to go with your bass fishing here. That's why the Lake Martin area is so special here on the Tallapoosa River, Alexander City, Alabama. Let's get back out on our final day coverage here. And the University of North Alabama, this is Ryan Hayes and Jake Staley, who've made it to the top 3. All of our 26 teams that are fishing out here today, Ronnie, have made it to the championship. They've qualified. This is just for bragging rights today.
This takes some of the stress out of it, knowing that you're already in the championship, which is the goal. But now these top 3 teams, these top 10, in fact, everybody has a chance to win because the weights were so close. You could see they were using shallow, moving baits just like everybody else in the top 5. That was predominantly the pattern that ruled here this week on Lake Martin with that pre-spawn cranking and spinner baiting.
Got one. So cool. You get over there and fish. I'll get it.
Hayes and Staley from the University of North Alabama trying to get tuned in on the wintertime fishing. Of course, they're from Florence, Alabama, so obviously quite familiar with places like legendary Pickwick Lake, all sorts of legendary lakes in Alabama. The University of South Alabama got a feather in their cap already, went from 130th place on day 1 to knock out 17-11 on day number 2 and make it all the way into 2nd place.
As you can see, many of these teams were cranking those red crawfish, those just pre-spawn crankbaits that are textbook across the country, but especially in Alabama. And the competition, very stout in Alabama, as well as the rest of the college circuit.
Fun, man. You know, a lot of kids try it. A lot of college anglers try it. And it's hard. You compete with a lot of good people.
Yes. I've had a pretty good fall and spring so far. And people ask me, what's the key to catching them on different lakes, being consistent? Biggest thing is just time on the water to me. The more time on the water you put, the better angler you become.
The more you learn about it.
Little one. It's all right, it's a start.
You think he'll keep?
Hmm?
You think he'll keep?
Yeah, he'll keep.
Conventional?
Hmm?
So you can see some of these fish are so white. They're so pale in comparison to what they normally are because of the muddier water color. They had a lot of rain this winter, and the water levels, you know, coming up, but it's still really cold.
John Davis now and Peyton McGinnis are leaders to start this third and final day. We talk about the comeback from Northern Alabama. How about this team, 140th on day number 1? And they went all the way to first place. Got to be the biggest comeback in college Bassmaster history.
The duo of Davis and McGinnis have fished so many college tournaments together over the last couple years. That helps so much with decision making and knowing you can trust your partner. And these guys obviously were in sync early on the final day as they boated numerous fish, and they knew they were only one bite or so away from probably sealing this deal.
Good.
Good one.
No, he ain't big. He ain't big at all. I can boat flip him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Choked it.
Like that's how you want him to eat it right there.
You went the wrong way. You went the wrong way. You went over and you should have gone under. There you go.
I'll go. Dude, that one bank's gonna be fire.
All right, from the Crimson Tide, John Davis and Peyton McGinnis, as you mentioned, Ronnie, they have impeccable credentials with regard to the Carhartt Bassmaster College Series. A fantastic day number 2, just trying to survive, get it done on day number 3. And as we come back to the weigh-in here, it's pretty clear they're going to have to get past Itawamba Community College, who has the lead. Can they do it?
9 pounds, 11 ounces. Itawamba's done it.
Itawamba, a total of 35-9 for a 4-ounce victory over Alabama to start the season off at the Southern Regional. Itawamba Community College and a few communities there in northern Mississippi, so also close to Pickwick Lake, and these guys certainly figured out Martin in a big way. When we come back, we're going even farther south to possibly the biggest bass fishing competitive fishery in the United States, the Atchafalaya Basin in South Louisiana. Regional number 2, the Central. Carhartt Bassmaster College Series 2016 edition. Regional Qualifiers trying to make your way to the national championship. All these teams, of course, we've knocked out our Southern Regional. Took a look at that. Of course, the teams from Alabama were caught at the last minute. A come-from-behind victory from Itawamba Community College. Russ Johnson and Hunter Schrock pulling off the victory right there. The first team leading the qualifiers from the Southern. That was a big qualifier. They've got a big one here coming up from the Central in possibly the biggest fishery in all the United States, the massive Atchafalaya Basin here in South Louisiana, stretching across 8 parishes. That gives you an idea of how much land and water we are talking about. There's our host facility right there, NICHOLLS State, in the heart of Cajun country, Thibodaux, Louisiana. Looking forward to a great event here. We take you to the weigh-in on day number 1 and knocking out 3rd place. About the host team, NICHOLLS State, Matthew, Benoit, and LeBlanc knocking out 12 pounds on that day. 2nd place, Tarleton State University from Texas, Zach Zober, Dakota Ebert with 13-3 for 2nd place, but the big leaders, Tyler Stewart and Nick Joyner from up in northeast Louisiana. Louisiana Monroe, Tyler Stewart and Nick Joyner, they're veterans. Carhartt Bassmaster College Series, and they showed it today with 17-9 as we get ready to start on day number 2. Things are improving, Ronnie, but we had a lot of rain early.
A lot of rain, a lot of wind, and changing conditions with this cold front coming through South Louisiana.
We're sitting in first today. Really today we're just going to go out and try to catch a decent limit, come back in, and hopefully stay in the lead. You know, anything's possible this time of the year. We caught them pretty quick yesterday, but you just never know.
Not saying we'll catch the same bag as yesterday, but if we can at least scratch a limit, possibly catch 10 to 12 pounds, hold our lead, hold top 3, that would just be great for us.
Well, we pulled up in here yesterday, and at practice we caught them on this stretch right here and that stretch over there, and we just pulled up in here yesterday and caught them bam, bam, bam real quick and got out of here and tried to save some fish for today, so hopefully that's going to pay off.
Something we learned in practice though, we come in here doing a lot of power fishing and wasn't getting many bites. Picked up a little wacky rig with 10-pound line, just started catching them a whole lot better.
Any spot that there's cypress knees or a cypress tree is almost guaranteed this time of the year, especially in here. That's a good one. Good job.
Tyler Stewart and Nick Joyner, that fantastic day number 1, just trying to hang in there and survive on day number 2, and that's a good start to their day. Let's take a look at team number 2. Zach Ziober, Dakota Ebear from Tarleton State.
Yesterday, that current flowing down just like it is now, and then fish were staged on the backside of them trees. That sun started hitting it, they started biting a little bit.
Is it muddy? No. It's a little. About the same
like it was yesterday. I ain't gonna measure.
No.
10 inches.
You know, we knew there was gonna be a lot of changes fixing to happen with this front moving through, so our goal was during the week was to find fish. And you know, when we found those fish, we figured maybe we could adjust to them whenever the front hit. But we're gonna fish slow and methodical, and we're gonna go through everything. Still a few fish on beds, and you just gotta kind of tick them big girls off to where they'll hit, you know. And then sometimes it's real subtle bites. You won't even know you got a fish, you know, and they'll just be sitting there. But you just gotta pay real close attention. And with this wind and stuff, it's hard.
Trying to find clean water.
No, that bank had 20 foot of hyacinth on it yesterday. Oh, yeah. Good fish.
Nice.
That was a crap show.
We got him though.
Yeah. He kept picking it up and dropping it and picking up and dropping it, and I didn't know when to set the hook.
Out of way, Dakota. Good start.
Good net job. I'm sorry. I had terrible fish control there.
It's all good. He's in the boat.
Skinny, but that's one. I was saying about that hyacinth over there.
Yeah.
It was way off the bank.
It was stacked in there.
So nobody could fish that yesterday. So.
That thing hit it pretty hard.
Yeah, like
fish.
Like a nail, but he kept hitting it, and picking it up and dropping it, hitting it, picking up and dropping it. And he'd run like 2 feet and then pick it up again. And I kept wanting to set the hook, and he kept dropping it.
The vast Atchafalaya Basin has so many canals and backwaters, areas with clean water and dirty water, but this week there was an influx of mucky water with all the wind and rain. That's the stuff you want to avoid, and it looks like ULM has found their good watercolor.
Absolutely, a very stable situation there. That is like gold and has worked well for Tyler Stewart and Nick Joyner from Louisiana Monroe. This team can't wait to get to the finals. They want to take on the best in the country.
Yeah, it would mean everything to us because the whole ultimate goal before we graduate was to win a national championship and win a central regional also. That would be great. If we could do that, before we graduated, if we could do it tomorrow, that would be awesome because this is how we like to fish and this would be our time to do it.
Might call a little bit, maybe. We need to get that cold tag out of there.
Yeah.
See, it's how all of them finish.
This is not the approach you would normally see in South Louisiana fishing, but ULM has taken the finesse approach and it's paying off big dividends with this unstable weather, the unstable fish. They're finding all the right bites.
We'll see if that big lead from day one will hold up as we take you to the day two weigh-in from Nichols State. The Matthew Benoit, Matthew LeBlanc, hanging in there with 10 pounds and 10 ounces to stay in third place.
Their teammates from Nichols State, Marcus Kleber and Francis Robichaux, bring 12 pounds to the scales, and they jump all the way up into second place right behind.
And there's ULM. Tyler Stewart and Nick Joyner bringing in 9 pounds, 9 ounces. A big letdown from day one, but hey, that's good enough to maintain that 4-pound lead that they started with to begin day number 2 as we take a look at the top 10. Certainly qualified to go to the championship. We'll be fishing for the winning spot in this tournament as we go into day number 3. The team from Tarleton State hanging in there. Arkansas, Texas, A&M, Nichols State with 3 teams in there. We'll have final day action from the Atchafalaya Basin trying to win the Central Regional Qualifier into the championship Carhartt Bassmaster College Series. Carhartt Bassmaster College Series 2016. This is the road to the championship, and it goes through the regional qualifiers. We've been watching this Central Regional from huge, gigantic, the Atchafalaya Basin here in South Louisiana, and the team of Tyler Stewart and Nick Joyner have been doing a good job. Huge day 1, just sort of a maintenance job on day number 2, and now we find them on day number 3 just trying to hang on, but starting the day with a 4-pound plus lead, and that's a good spot to be in.
We feel pretty good. We've had about 6 bites. We've only landed half of them, but we've got 2 fish in the live well, definitely over 3 pounds, and then we got another one over 2 pounds. So I feel like if we could just fill out a limit, I mean, I'm not saying we could win. We would have a chance to win, and I feel like what we have right now will qualify us into the national championships. The pressure's off for that anyway.
Good.
Keeper. Well, pretty good.
Yeah.
Another 2-pounder.
Stewart and Joyner saved this area for the final day. They did not pressure it yesterday. They kind of were in fish management mode. Today, final day, nothing to hold back. Started in this canal that hadn't been touched by any competitors all week. They've been keeping their eye on it, and it's paying dividends with plenty of bites.
All right, trying to win it wire to wire, trying to overtake them, of course, back in the pack. Marcus Kleber, Francis Robichaux from Nichols State University, still trying to get their game plan tuned in.
I say we just keep on punching. I say we run through a first spot this morning.
We just came in this tournament just trying to not get last, and we never would have thought we would ever do this, so it's really cool. Every month we have a tournament for Nichols and stuff, so we usually have tournaments like around here in Oklahoma or in Lake des Allemands, Lake Cotahuachi, everywhere pretty much, and we all just get together, make game plans together, and just go try to catch as much fish as we can.
Get him.
Oh,
Bring him
oh.
in. Get him. The hardest one, first fish. Good job, Frank.
Finally.
He was in there? Way back there?
Way back in there.
He was back there, like in the middle?
Yeah, he's back there ways.
He grabbed it, or he played with it, just thumped it?
Like the other day, I mean, he tapped it once and then he took it.
It was on the bottom when he hit it?
Yeah. It was like the 3rd bounce off the bottom, and he came and got it.
Solid. 4 more like that and I'd be happy.
4 more like that would be okay. Yeah, we come fish here all the time, and we kind of know some good spots and when they're biting, when they're not biting, and what type of baits to use and different stuff like that. So I feel like it is a little advantage to it.
Just staying persistent, doing what we know works, not trying to do anything fancy or change it up, and just fish hard all day.
Kleber and Robish show day number 2 only had 4 fish, but yet the second highest total for a limit on that day. Maybe they can do some damage today with a full 5-fish limit. Try to catch these guys. That's what everybody's trying to do, trying to run down ULM.
Stewart and Joyner this morning started off big time. They had a 4-pound lead coming into the day, and it's always good when that's your first fish of the day. They put in the second, third, and fourth keepers in short order right after that. And after leaving this canal that they hadn't touched all week, they decided to head back to their primary area where they caught their big day 1 weight. They're going to try to finish out their limit there and maybe cull up some before they come back to the canal.
Basically, we just came to the spot we started yesterday as well as the first day. Just trying to fill out our limit since we've got 4 fish right now for 10 or 11 pounds, give or take. So at the moment, we're just looking for a 5th keeper to fill out a limit, then try to maybe get one more big one to try to seal the deal.
Good. Not a bad one. Good job.
Number 5. We got us a limit.
University of Louisiana Monroe, again, they started this day with a 4-pound plus advantage over the 2 teams from Nicholls State. Let's see if they can hang on and win this thing. What they'll have to do is get past Louisiana Tech from Ruston. Gunnar Durrett and Austin Watkins have laid down 11 pounds. Can they beat that figure and take the tournament?
Just taking it over, looking for 6'4". 14 pounds, 14 ounces. And La Monroe has done it. They've gone wire to wire to take home the Central Conference Regional Championship.
Tyler Stewart and Nick Joyner, congratulations to them, overachieving. If you catch the 2 biggest single-day limits caught in the tournament, that's what you get right there, the trophies. Congratulations, and to all the qualifiers for the national championship who come from the Central region. We're going way out west to legendary Lake Mead. When we come back, don't go away. Carhartt Bassmaster College Series for 2016. We're taking those steps that can get you to the national championship. We just finished up our Central Regional Qualifier there, and that team right there from University of Louisiana Monroe, Tyler Stewart and Nick Joyner, with a big, overwhelming victory on a difficult-to-figure-out Atchafalaya Basin. So hats off to the team from ULM, leading all the qualifiers from the Central region to the finals. But now we're going all the way out west in another legendary fishery. The first place where they ever had a Bassmaster Classic, all 115 miles of Lake Mead on the Colorado River. Teams out here trying to get their spots in the national championships, working hard. We'll take you to the weigh-in on day number 1 with Northern Arizona University, the Gunners, Gunnar Stanton and Gunnar Campbell, this big school from up there in Flagstaff, Arizona, knocking out 15 pounds, 15 ounces. We pick them up now on day 2.
These guys were using a finesse approach, fishing shallow, just like we saw at the Atchafalaya, looking for bedding fish. With this clear Lake Mead water, it is so much easier to see it than it was back in the Central Regional. So these guys were, using those stick baits, using those slow presentations, trying to find every single fish that was shallow that they could.
Yeah, we were trying to catch the female there, and she swam off, and the male came out of that tule patch over there. I think he was just waiting off the bed. When they both came over, he just came right over and slurped up my Cinco. It was that easy. She got a little fired up when I took him off the bed, so we'll see what she does here.
Ronnie, I'll make a confession to you. I'm not a big fan of watching sight fishing, bed fishing, but when the water is that clear and you can see everything that goes on like that in this perfect Colorado River water, man, that catch right there, Gunnar Stanton, Gunnar Campbell from Northern Arizona, that was superb.
Stanton and Campbell's main pattern this week was going to the backs of these pockets, looking for these patches of toolies, or which we would call reeds on the East Coast, and along the way they would find those bedfish. So we leave them here. They're trying to catch the female, but as you can see, some female fish are a whole lot harder to catch off the bed than the males are, so they're going to have to take some time on that one.
Yeah, how much time will they spend on that? Meanwhile, let's go to second place after the day one weigh-in. Colorado Mesa University's Josh Worth and Kennedy Kincaid, 12 pounds and 10 ounces on day number one, trying to get it going today.
So we got one fish in the box right now. We're just trying to fill out our limit and then go big fish hunting. It's been a little slow, but we got started faster today than we did yesterday. So we're sitting pretty much similar to what we had yesterday about this time. So we're hoping with the next 4 hours we can get 4 bites. 4 bites. Yeah, that's what we need.
Afternoon, we did the same thing yesterday. So yesterday we were definitely a little bit nervous, but today, you know, we definitely we came through yesterday with some good bites there at the end. So it's a lot easier to stay calm when you did it the day before. You just know you got to keep grinding, and those bites will come. We just need to get, you know, bite every hour or so, and if you think of it like that, it's not too bad. So it definitely helps keep us calm.
Want to guess fish?
Yeah. What you got?
Smallmouth, I think.
Smallie?
Which we'll use them.
Stay down, stay down, stay down. Ah, nice. Hi, boy.
Good fish.
Good call. Whenever we say, oh, let's try this one, what do you know? There's a fish on it.
Hopefully we're getting rid of him today, but we'll take him with only one fish in the box.
He's got a good belly. He's got a good belly.
About 2.
Hi, boy. Nice job.
Hey, you got a buddy.
2 fish, 2 keepers in the boat now for Colorado Mesa University. It's not long before they get keeper number 3 going here. Trying to get into a rhythm today. Started this day with a deficit of about 3 pounds.
Right in there. Woo! Woo!
3 and 4 getting closer to a limit. Colorado Mesa, let's take you to the weigh-in here, and there they are. Josh Worth and Kennedy Kincaid with 13 pounds and 8 ounces for a total of 26.2. Northern Arizona University hanging on to the lead. Gunnar Stanton, Gunnar Campbell.
The duo from Northern Arizona maintains a lead. Led day 1 and day 2, and as they head out on day 3, they have some tight competition behind them. Jacob Wall, 3rd place from Oregon, fishing solo this week. Blew his lower unit shortly after day 1 takeoff, but he still managed to stay in contention going into the final day.
After we got off the water, we were lucky that Byron Chavez was able to help us put a lower unit that he had that was a spare. Luckily it fit my boat, which was a miracle. I know that there's a whole bunch of different shaft lengths. There's like 20 inch, 25 inch, 30 inch, and somehow it was the same shaft length that I had. Yeah, I think blowing my lower unit was kind of a blessing in disguise. I ended up fishing most of this close water because that's all I was able to fish, and I found this little pocket over here that's just loaded with fish. I saw a bunch cruising that first day of the tournament, and I caught my biggest fish of the first day in there, and yesterday I went in there right off the bat and I had 5 hooked up before 7 o'clock. Today I can go in there and hopefully at least my goal is to put 2 in the boat off this spot. You know, I mean, that's at a, you know, minimum, but that's kind of what my goal is, to put 2 in the boat right here. That's another thing I've been doing this week. I've been turning all my electronics off. Fishing really quiet, turning my trolling motor down to about 30, keeping it real quiet, even though this water over here is stained. And the only reason this is stained is because we get a lot of boat traffic right here. There's one. There we go. That's what we like to see right there. That was not even on the spot I've been catching them on. Got to save these Cincos though. It's a certain color and that's all I've been catching them on. He ate it too. Grab some pliers here. Let's see where they at. I think they're in here. Look at that. I don't even think they're all the way. Oh no, that's a pro. There it goes. Decent little smallmouth to start the day. Probably isn't gonna make the bag at the end, but it's a start. That's how it's been going. It's funny though, you know, most guys fish a Cinco, they cast it out there, they let it fall to the bottom, they pick it up, they reel it in, and they cast it back. I'm catching all these fish on the bottom with my Cinco. I'm letting it sit there, I'm shaking it. I'm throwing a color I don't think anyone fishes on this lake, so it's something these fish don't see. I'm fishing more of a bait fish color. I think most guys are fishing a real dark, you know, green pumpkin or watermelon, something along those lines. For me, it seems to make a difference, you know. I mean, most of it's just confidence, but that's all it takes is confidence out here.
Jacob Wall, the senior from the University of Oregon, from Jacksonville, Oregon, trying to be only the second to ever win regional qualifier in the Carhartt Bassmaster College Series by himself without a teammate. So far, he's getting the job done, hanging in there in third place, and he'll have to move up. It is the final day as we head into our leaders going into this third and final day. Gunnar Campbell, Gunnar Stanton, Northern Arizona.
As you can see, they're fishing those flooded tules and reeds in the back of these pockets where all these fish can find the bait fish, the forage, and a little bit of shade in this clear water.
Can't really think about it. We're just gonna go out and catch what we can catch and see where it puts us. That's all we can do. Hopefully come with a good bag, so we're feeling a little comfortable heading into the weigh-in today, but just looking for a decent limit. There's a little smallmouth on a bed up here in practice. See if he's still here. Cast over by them tules and just drag it by like you did. All right.
Get him. Get him. He's done it. Get him. Go.
Couldn't see him at first. He's up underneath. Choked it. Yep, that's right there has been one of our most consistent patterns all week. Just running around looking for tules and just pitch this little finesse worm up in there and they swim right out with it. If you're not throwing one of these little worms in there, it's pretty hard to catch them up in the tules because they're so skittish from all the pressure. So just try to make really quiet casts in there and they just see your line jump and they'll come out. And they're choking this thing, so you know you got the right bait.
Northern Arizona trying to hang on to that lead. Have all the confidence in the world on this third and final day. They've already qualified to go to the national championship, trying to get the win. And now as we take a look at all the happenings here in our Western Regional Qualifier, we cannot keep our minds off the case of Alex Robbins, one of the great competitors out here. Courageous competitor from Humboldt State who unfortunately lost his life in a boating accident just a few weeks ago. Just a terrible tragedy and a loss felt by everyone in the fishing community of these United States.
Bass fishing is such a competitive sport, but out here on the College Series, it seems like a family, and I know Alex will be tremendously missed by all of his competitors and peers.
The Carhartt Bassmaster College Series is brought to you by Carhartt and by Bass Pro Shops.
Carhartt Bassmaster College Series with regional qualifying, trying to get to the national championship, not too far from Lake Mead, this town. And that guy, you recognize him more or less. That is, of course, mighty Las Vegas, Nevada. Near Lake Mead, all 125 miles of it on the Colorado River. Here's the team that comes into this final day with the lead. Gunnar Stanton, Gunnar Campbell, Northern Arizona University.
You can see Stanton right there realized there was a fish moved in those tules, and so not to spook him, he stays off the trolling motor and makes a pitch.
time put that net down and just drops.
He knows what's up.
Yeah.
Just saw that one cruising, and he went right back into the toolies and pitched right on him. Ate it right away.
This one still got your line on it too.
How about that?
It's got the magic touch right when I let go, it gets him.
We'll count that as an assist.
Yeah.
For AR. That's the second time that's happened. We fished a tournament on Lake Mojave just down the river and got a 4-pounder. And I was putting one of these culling tags in it, and he had his rod sitting back here and it started bouncing. And I set the hook and handed him the rod.
Number 2 in the boat, very deftly done by Gunnar Stanton from just around the corner. Grew up in Boulder City. That's his hometown, right around the corner from the launch here. So good job there for Northern Arizona, right around the corner from the launch as well. Our man in third place to start the day, Jacob Wall.
It's another thing I do a lot that a lot of guys, I don't know, at least from my experience, I watch guys fish and they pick a bank and they kind of just go down it. I pick a spot and I'm flipping around, I'm going back through it. I fish over my own water all the time. I'll sit in the same spot like this for an hour, 2 hours, because I know these fish, they just keep moving around and keep coming in. You might have casted once and the fish, it might have been at his backside, or you know, he just may not have seen it. So it's important, at least I think, to really thoroughly, you know, if you know there's fish there, really thoroughly pick it apart. Change it up just a bit here, throw a different color Cinco in here. And no, I am not a Cinco fisherman, I just fish what works. And right now this is working. By this time yesterday, I already had 5 fish on, 3 in the boat. A little slower start to today. That's all right though, I gotta keep my head up. Got plenty more time today. Just gotta hope those other fish I've got bite. All right, this is not what I wanted. I want one more and I'll be okay with it, but still not stoked on that way that started. That's all right though, I got plenty of time today. I've caught one each day off this weird little sandy thing. Man, after that freaking second cast catching one, I thought it was gonna be a fast start right there again. But it didn't. There's one, good one, big one. Stay on, baby, stay on, baby, stay on, baby, stay on, stay on, stay on, stay on, stay on. That's a 4-pounder, stay on, baby. Stay on, baby, stay on. Do not come off. Do not come off. Do not come off, baby. No, 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 don't do that. Don't do that. Come on, get in this net. Yeah, woo! That's a 3-pounder. Yes! Hadn't caught one out of there all practice or anything. I need pliers again. Whew, yes! I had her hooked good too. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Check this out. This fish was caught in a tournament recently. Hole right there. That fish was probably released within the last few days. That's a nice fish. Yes, baby. Yes. Oh, I can't believe she didn't come off when she jumped. That's how I've been losing all of them. Oh, I'm shaking like a leaf. If that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. This is another thing that I'm doing here. I'm retying after every fish that eats it like that one did. Because their teeth rub on your line, even if you don't feel it. Sometimes it'll weaken your knot, weaken your line. I don't want to set the hook and break off, even though I am using 15-pound test. This is the last one of these Cincos that's new in this color, so I got to capitalize on it. Went through all the ones I had.
Jacob Wall, Oregon, reaching out and touching the right ones, the big ones on the final day here at Lake Mead. Was it enough to slow it down with a bait he had full confidence in? Was it enough to get it done? Let's take it to the weigh-in.
16 pounds, 13 ounces. Let's hear it for your new leader by himself, Oregon, Jacob Wall.
42 pounds even for Jacob Wall. Now he has to sit and watch as the rest of them come up. Colorado Mesa, they can't get it done. And how about Gunnar Stanton, Gunnar Campbell from Northern Arizona have led this thing the first 2 days. They got to get it over 42 pounds total.
Looking for 15.3. If they don't have it, it's Oregon. If 15.3 is it, it goes to Northern Arizona. 13 pounds, 3 ounces, and Jacob Wall has taken home this trophy. We've never had a single champion, so we're going to have you hold up both trophies, John. If you want to grab that trophy, I'm going to grab this trophy. There you go, Jacob, First World Problems. Step right over there, and I'm going to introduce you to your champion of the Carhartt Bassmaster College Series presented by Bass Pro Shops, Western Conference champion, Mr. Jacob Wall of the University of Oregon. Let's hear it for him, your winner.
There you go. If you can do it by yourself, you get a trophy for each hand. Congratulations to Jacob Wall, University of Oregon, leading those 10 anglers, the top 10 finishers at the Western Regional on Lake Mead, into our championships. We're halfway through these regional qualifiers, and Mr. Wall here, only the second to win it all by himself.
That is an impressive feat with the field sizes we have to win it on your own, and for him to be the second one, it says a lot about him as an angler.
We got 3 more to go, and that's going to happen the next time we see you here on the Carhartt Bassmaster College Series.
How about that?
Nice.
Get him. Come on, get in this net. Yeah! Woo! Yeah! Yeah!
That's a nice fish.